What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we have to talk about Chuck Schumer and how this man is fighting for his political life. The DNC, the far, far, far left wing of the DNC, the AOC Jasmine Crockett wing of the DNC are desperately trying to remove this man out of his position and convince everybody in his party that he doesn't need to be around anymore. Whether or not he'll survive this is yet to be seen. But before we get further down into that rabbit hole concerning Chuck Schumer, I want to stay on that very far, far, far AOC Jasmine Crockett left-wing portion of the DNC because for the longest time now, when discussing polling numbers, we all know that the Democrats are failing miserably and they're experiencing record low polling and approval ratings across the board. It doesn't matter who's polling them, right? But what always stood out to me like a sore thumb was that when you would see these record low polling numbers coming from the DNC, what you would also see is always a number that's somewhere around 55 or 57% of registered Democrats saying that they want the Democrats in Congress to fight harder against Trump. The reason that always stood out to me as a sore thumb is because it seems to really contradict the mood of what's really happening in the real world. One of the things that's killing the Democrats right now is the reality and the fact that essentially they appear to hate Trump more than they love their country. They oppose him just to oppose him all the time. They lie about him and Elon all the time, and people can see right through it. They are fighting against Trump really as much as they can. So it doesn't really make sense for them to be saying that as it pertains to registered Democrats, you need to fight harder. How? What do you mean? You're telling me you're going to continue to double down, triple down, and quadruple down on men and women's sports? And we've seen that that's what's happening concerning AOC and Jasmine Crockett and Hakeem Jeffries as well. But the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense that the reason that those numbers come out that way concerning the 57% is because at this moment in time concerning the DNC, as the saying goes, the inmates are running the asylum. Currently, as we speak right now in this moment, right, there are more registered Republicans in the United States than there are registered Democrats. That's not just because a bunch of new young 18-year-olds or 20-something-year-olds or however old you may be, you might have registered to finally vote for the first time and you just happen to vote Republican or register Republican. No. That's not what that is. You have that element, but then you also have numerous people who transitioned over from Democrat to Republican or from independent to Republican. So the entire country, for the most part, now is leaning right. So when you're seeing these polling numbers come out concerning the Democrats needing to fight harder against Trump, all that's left of the current modern Democrat Party, you can say, is the extreme far left. And this is why you see Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and Hakeem Jeffries everywhere the way that you do, fighting against every common sense issue that the American people are for. Now, what jogged my mind, right, that brought me to remember to bring this up was this great dialogue here, and a very eye-opening dialogue, I should say, for better words, here between Chris Cuomo and James Carville. What they're going to discuss here is how seemingly they themselves are being pushed out of the Democrat Party and being told that they're too old and out of touch by the younger AOC type progressives. I want to play this video for you right now before we move on over to Chuck Schumer. So let's get into this right now and let's hear what these two have to say.
My podcast with you, you would not believe how many people said that you and I, James Carville and a Cuomo, don't get what being a Democrat is about. That I don't know when Carville was a Democrat, but in the modern era, this is, I mean, it's scary to me because they don't even know what made them great anymore. They don't even get it, James. They should be listening to everything they say. They should be tattooing your head on their arms.
You know, there's an expression in the river parish where I grew up, said, I ain't studying about none of this. I don't pay attention to these people. And all they do is talk about how old I am and how they're the wave of the future. I would give anything if one of these people ever beat a Republican. When anybody on the identity left or anybody that's coming in with all of these grand, do me a favor, beat a Republican, and then I will have respect for you. Do what Ruben Gallego did. Do what Jackie Rosen did. Do what Tammy Baldwin did. Do what Alyssa Slotkin did. Try beating a Republican, not beating some guy in the Bronx that, you know, that's 75-year-old Democrat and think you did something. And I see these people coming up and I notice, and they're calling for action immediately. And I look up the partisan lean of their district, and it's plus D27. Well, if all you care about is your plus D27 district, and by the way, you can't beat a Republican anywhere. If that's what a political party exists for, not to go around claiming moral superiority, it exists to win elections, and they need to get that through their thick, stupid skull.
And they need to get that through their thick, stupid skull. What he's saying makes a lot of sense. Really think about this right now as it pertains to, I guess, the modern Democrat Party, you can say. Do you see any of these people being able to stand toe to toe in any type of debate against J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Byron Donalds, Tulsi Gabbard? I can't see that at all. None of them can tie any of those individual shoes at all whatsoever. Yet they are pushing the old guard out because they feel the old guard is not progressive enough. We need men and women's sports. We need open borders. We need all of the foolishness that seemingly lost Kamala Harris the election. In the minds of these far, far, far left-wing progressives, they feel that they need to double, triple, and quadruple down on what is clearly a losing message. And if they do that, then that'll convince the American people that they were the ones right the whole time and not us. Because obviously, as we've discussed so many times, you know, according to the DNC, right, these far left progressives, we're the ones that are stupid and we just don't understand what's going on out here, right? And now that brings us to Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, like I stated at the top of this video, is fighting for his political life. But that more so became the reality of things when he decided to vote for the spending bill that the far, far, far left progressives so desperately wanted to fight against, and to the point to where the government was shut down. Well, because he didn't do that, all of the backlash that he's been getting from his own party has actually put him in a situation to which he is now, to some degree, concerned for his life. Look at this headline here. Senator Chuck Schumer's book tour postponed for security concerns amid funding vote controversy. Let's get into this right now. His, looks like his life is, a little kind of on the line. He has to worry a little bit. Look at this here. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's 3 planned book tour events scheduled for this week were abruptly postponed Monday morning because of security concerns. Schumer, promoting his new book, Anti-Semitism in America, a warning, faced backlash over voting for the House-approved government funding bill that averted a shutdown on Friday. With Democrats' help, the Senate passed a stopgap bill hours before funding was set to lapse. The article continues to read, many Democrats, including progressives, had wanted him to vote against the bill and to more strongly protest against President Donald Trump's and the congressional Republicans' agenda. Schumer had events planned in Baltimore, New York City, and Washington, D.C. this week. Protests were planned outside of all 3 events. A spokesperson for Schumer's book tour told ABC News that due to security concerns, Senator Schumer's book events are being rescheduled. Some of the hosts of Schumer's events, including DC bookstore Politics and Prose and Baltimore's Enoch Pratt Free Library, also individually cited security concerns for cancellation. And I get it as far as the security concerns are concerned, as far as the security concerns are concerned, right? I do get it, because look at how these DNC lunatics, these far, far left DNC lunatics, have been acting concerning Elon Musk. They're literally participating in acts of terrorism, going to his dealerships, setting fleets of his cars on fire, shooting up the dealerships, shooting up cars, people walking down the street, keying Teslas randomly, writing Nazi symbols on the side of the door. These people are lunatics. So, yeah, I get it. Schumer's life, to some degree, and his security is at stake. And especially a man of his age, really a man of any age at this point, or a woman, when you're taking into account how crazy the DNC has gotten, as far as these people at this point acting like borderline terrorists. Yeah, it's probably a good idea for Chuck Schumer to lay low for a while. And laying low is what he's been doing to a degree, right? Because though he's not running around out here in public as he wanted to promote his book, what he is doing right now is going on multiple television shows trying to plead his case for why he is a great leader and should remain the leader of the Democrat Party. Let's look at some of these videos right now. I want to first go to this video that he had here. I believe it was on CBS or ABC. I can't recall which news network it was at the moment, but it's the network with Gayle King on it, right? I want to pull this video up because what they did was they asked him about how he feels about his own party, saying that it's time for him to go. Here's what Chuck Schumer had to say.
People in your own party, they're saying, look, it's time for you to go. They no longer trust your leadership. They want somebody else in there. What do you say about that?
Here's what I say.
In your own party saying
Yes.
that's to go.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm the best leader for the Senate. We have a lot of leaders. You know, when you don't have a president, there's not one leader of the party. There are lots of them. We have a lot of good people. But I am the best at keep winning Senate seats. I've done it in 2005. Just in 2020, no one thought we'd take back the Senate. Under my leadership, we took it. So we now are executing.
You're not going anywhere.
We have a great. We're moving forward. Hakeem and I have a plan. Let me just say this. There's a real contrast between the parties. The Republican Party now, particularly in office, is the party of rich oligarchs who want to really screw every average American so they can get tax cuts for the rich. And we are fighting that every day. So today, we just issued a statement at 8 o'clock that describes it. Hakeem and I, we have a day of action on Medicaid. In every state, in every corner of the country, Democrats are talking about they're going to Medicaid centers. They're going to people who would be deprived and
Senator, people don't have faith in the Democrats.
Well, let me say this. Look, and we're going to do this day in, day out on issues. Why are they doing tariffs and raising your cost $2,000? It's beginning to work. Why are they taking away Fannie and Freddie and raising your housing costs dramatically? It's beginning to work. His numbers have come down. If we keep at it every day, relentless fighting and showing how they're hurting people so badly, Trump's numbers will get much lower. And his both popularity, but also his effectiveness will decline. That, I believe that strategy will work.
May I hold up the book?
He's delusional because currently, as we speak, the mood of the country is that of which 44% of the American people believe that the country is headed in the right direction. That's the highest that percentage has been since 2004. What is that? We're talking about 21 years ago. We haven't seen numbers that high in 21 years. Currently, as we speak, inflation has dropped over and over and over and over again since the moment Trump took office. The price of eggs has gone down. If I'm not mistaken, the price of fuel has gone down as well. You can verify this all for yourself. The data is out there. So he's just kind of making things up and saying just kind of whatever in an effort to make Trump look bad. But I did find it humorous that he was saying that I'm the best at what I do. I'm the best to run the Democrat Party. No one's getting rid of me, and I'm not going anywhere because nobody's better at winning Senate seats than me. So he's standing his ground, and I can respect that in the face of the far left DNC lunatics, right?
I think you caved. I think you and 9 other Democrats caved. I don't think you showed the fight that this party needs right now because you're playing with by a rule book where the other party has thrown that rule book away.
There are many fewer cuts in that bill than that would be in a shutdown.
But they
it was
still
a bad
exist.
choice. So we got to. Yes, they exist. But
You
if you
have to
have
work with
two,
the cards
if
you
you
have.
have two choices, one bad, the other devastating. One chops off one of your fingers, the other chops off your arm.
That's right.
So I want to fight, and we are fighting. We're going to fight every day on this, every day. Today, we're fighting them on Medicaid. Tomorrow, we're going to fight them on, the next few days on tariffs. We're going to fight them on Social Security. But I want to win and fight smart.
Yes.
Not just, I understand, we want to stick it to them.
Okay,
we're going to stick it to them and fight smart and win.
And though I can respect that he is standing his ground against these DNC lunatics, at the same time, as I stated earlier, he's still very much so delusional. The majority of the American people are for the DOGE cuts. The majority of the American people are for mass deportation. The majority of the American people are for a very quick and speedy end to the war in Ukraine, even if that means the Ukraine has to give up some land. The plurality of the people believe currently, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it actually might be the majority, but I'll be conservative about it. I'll just say the plurality, right? But somewhere around 40 some odd % of the people, though I do believe it's the majority, believe that Putin isn't really that much of an enemy the way the media continuously makes him out to be, meaning that he is someone that we can actually work with versus constantly clashing with, right? He's someone that we could actually be diplomatic with if you'd actually take the time to try to be diplomatic and not demonize. But once again, when it comes to the Democrats, demonizing and fear-mongering is seemingly all that they do. Demonize, fear-monger, and live in delusion. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.